Welcome back, Nick Lenz's Comic Review. Not Comic Review. Comic Corner. Classic / non-classic. This is episode number 891. Doubleshot number 85. Like I said before, 2 Spider-Man trades. First up, it is the final trade that collects the Amazing Spider-Man New Year Vows. Are you okay, Annie? Seriously? Why in the world is this trade called this? This is so bizarre. I mean, take a look at the first few trades. At least these titles make sense. Brawl in the Family. The Venom Experiment. 8 years later. Why would they do this for? It makes no sense at all. This collects issues 19 to 23 of Amazing Spider-Man New Vows Volume 2. Yeah, I was not particularly very happy this series ended. As far as I could tell, there's been no explained reason why this series ended for. After releasing 23 issues, I know my friend Tibby, he loves this series. He loves it. He reviewed like pretty much every single issue. Well, it's actually one of like 3 or 4 books I can think of in the past few years. He's reviewed every single issue that has come out for the respective series. He did it for this series. He did it for Action Comics, Superman, Super Sons. I think that's it. Oh yeah, he's also done some reviews for Flash as well. But this is definitely one of the series he did review. I enjoy the series too. But the only reason I think he loves the series is because of the character Annie. And the fact it's somewhat similar to that of the Spider-Girl series featuring Mayday Parker, created by Tom DeFalco. Yeah, this one is done by Jody Houser, who took over the book with issue 13. With artwork by Scott Kubelich, who's noteworthy for doing a lot of Deadpool stuff. Yeah, a Deadpool artist does these final issues. I mean, if you read the back of this trade, it doesn't say that this is the end, though 23 was the last issue of the series. Yeah, the whole thing with this series was, with these issues, was that, well, they encounter Mr. Sinister, who created clones of them, and decided to attack the X-Men, the Xavier Institute, and yeah, and there's also some normie stuff with the Green Goblin. Yeah, it's unknown in this timeline if in fact Norman Osborn is still left alive. Yeah, it's a bit questionable of if they're alive, if he's alive, and I have no idea. Yeah. There's some vacation stuff in here. Science. It's just pure fun. These particular issues. I mean, 19 is just a standalone issue of the Parkers going to Paris for a vacation. Yeah. Or also solving crimes. Yeah. That's basically what issue 19 is. It's just a standalone issue of the Parkers going on vacation. And then we deal with the whole clone stuff. And this pretty much takes up the last 4 issues of the series. Though the series will continue in the form miniseries called Spider Girls, which crossed over this Spider Girl, but it had Annie meet Mayday Parker, and well, formerly Arana from 616. Yeah, so basically 3 Spider Girls. I think this is actually a good way to end the series, though it's nothing very much home about. Though this is now. Here's the thing about Jody Houser. She's been writing for Marvel Comics now for about 2 years now. And this was her first comic she did. And it had a good start to it. And all of a sudden it was okay. And then it had a good ending too. I at least got to praise her for that. And the fact she wrote the Spider-Ghost miniseries, which I got to give praise for that. This book a 9 out of 10. Yeah, it's a bit low for reviewing a trade by Jody Houser. I used to call her Jody Holster. But I finally pronounced the name right. It's Jody Houser. I still don't get why the last interview referred to as a C-list writer, which, in my honest opinion, she isn't. She's just a damn good writer. I know because I've met her. And she's one of the nicest writers I've ever met. Alright, next up is Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man, Volume 4, Coming Home. And this collects issues 304 to 310, written by Chip Zdarsky. Artwork by Adam Kubert, who does issues 305 to 307. Yeah, he just does these 3 issues. 306 is co-done by John Ferrari. 308 309 is by Chris Bachalo. And apparently Zdarsky does issue 310. There's many nods to classic continuity, like this cover right here. Yeah. Though, in the case of the first three issues, the first few issues in here, this is mostly tied into what Zardesky had been doing since the opening arc, related to Tessa Parker and the whole thing with these aliens and time travel stuff. Yeah, that pretty much everything that's to go in this book since issue 1, that gets wrapped up with issue 306. Yep, and what's the last 3 issues? They feel like bonus issues because it feels like 306 is pretty much the end of this particular run. And also that Tessa Parker could turn herself into the police, and she's never seen again. As far as I can tell, she isn't. Yeah. And the last couple issues are just basically Zardesky just extending the series out for a couple more issues. Yeah, the first couple issues did the return of the Sandman. Yes, the Sandman. And for some reason, Chris Botchlow's brought in to do the artwork. This is probably the first Sandman-related story since the Gauntlet. The character has made appearances since the Gauntlet. Very minor and not very well noteworthy. Yeah. The thing with the Sandman is he has barely done anything prior to this. And apparently he dies. Yes, the Sandman gets killed off, which makes him the second Spider-Man villain to be dead. I mean, it was just a year prior to these issues coming out, actually it was about 2 years before these issues came out, that Dan Slott killed off the original Electro and replaced him with a woman. Sandman getting killed off, that actually was weird. But yeah, it seems like Zardesky kind of was running out of ideas. It's kind of the good thing he left because the last 3 issues he did were actually good, but not as good as his previous stuff. Nothing against Zardesky. I mean, I love his work, but yeah, it just almost feels like he just wanted to just do these 2 issues because he just felt like it. Yeah, the last issue is just basically one of those point of view issues. Yeah. Yeah, and 310 was definitely his last issue. As for why he left, it's a mystery to me. Heck, I didn't even notice he was gone. I mean, as far as I can tell, there was no announcement of him leaving. Though the book did continue for a couple more issues even after this. I'm giving this book roughly 9 out of 10. Yeah. The book continued after this for another 2 issues by Sean Ryan as a tie-in to Spider-Man Guy Den. And it's weird though that Amazing Spider-Man didn't do a tie-in to this. Yeah, I thought that was really weird. I'm sure a lot of people thought this was really weird because Spider-Man Guy Den the Spider-Guy Den story is a sequel to Spider-Verse, and Amazing Spider-Man told the main story there. Spider-Guy Den barely featured Peter Parker at all from 616. There was Peter Parker Spider-Man, but not the 616 one. He barely features in the book at all. I mean, if you have focus on the spiders. But it felt like a bit of a disappointment. I mean, I know my friend Tide listed as one of his worst comics came out last year. To me, the event felt a bit disappointing, and the fact that, well, they killed off my favorite alternate Spider-Man, which was the Spider-Man Noir. I don't know why he died. At least in the case of Spider-Man UK, I didn't have much of a connection to him at all, but I love Spider-Man Noir. It was terrible seeing him get killed by one of the Inheritors. Yeah. Now, as far as I could tell, this is also the last issue this last trade that collects issues from Zardesky's run. Yeah, and also, as far as I can tell, the series is pretty much over, and it's been replaced with Friend Name with Spider-Man. As for why the series had to end, no idea. But at least Zardesky had a good run. Not a very long run, mind you. Yeah, his run was not very long. I mean, if you look at it, it's only like a good 17 issues. Yeah, that's the thing. It's a pretty short run, lasting like a year and a half, had no breaks. Yeah, and then the book continues for another couple issues, and then he just leaves. Yeah, I don't know why he left, but he just did. But at least that the issues of the Sandman 2-part, I thought that was interesting. Really good way to follow up what happened with like he wanted to do something new with the book, like right after he wrapped up the storyline and going on to issue 1. Yeah, it was nice. I think in the case of having Tessa Parker, who is Peter Parker's sister, turn herself in, that's fine. But you could at least have her feature another book. I mean, here's something really weird about this. When Tessa Parker first showed this book back in issue 1, it been the first time in like 3 years that she's actually made a physical appearance. Yeah, her last appearance prior to this was in Amazing Spider-Man Family Business. That was her last physical appearance to date. And then, like, she shows up in this series. My guess is Ardesky just really wanted to have a loose end when it came to her. And then have her turn herself in because she leaked government secrets. Okay. It's particularly a little bizarre. But you could have had her get a pardon, especially with the whole thing helping her big brother, though she can't exactly go public with that. And one of my biggest disappointments with this run is the fact that, with the exception of Human Torch, a lot of the heroes really did not get a chance to interact with Tessa at all. That's a big disappointment with her. It's like, she gets along well with Johnny Storm, but yet she just doesn't make friends at all. I mean, did Zardesky get something from his... I'm sure Zardesky, I can feel as though he really wanted her to become friends with some of the female superheroes. That would have been nice. But my other problem was, this is the only book Tessa Parker was appearing in. She didn't appear in Amazing Spider-Man because, God forbid, Dan Slott tie into anything outside of his own damn stuff. But in the case of Zardesky basically builds upon basic well-established continuity and does his own thing. Not like Dan Slott, who basically keeps Amazing Spider-Man very tight and has nothing to do with the outside Marvel Universe at all most of the time. That's what it felt like for the past few years. The books felt so isolated. That was the big problem with the book. It produced some good stories, but it felt very isolated. In the case of this, didn't feel isolated at all, which I appreciate Zardesky for doing it. It felt like it had connection to the Marvel Universe, and the fact that they turned a C-list villain like the Tinker and make him a very interesting villain, which I got at least praise Zardesky for doing that. So you kind of say this is also my final thoughts on Zardesky's run. Yeah, not a very long run, mind you. Yeah, not much else to say when it comes to two Spider-Man trades, except that they're just actually pretty good. Okay, so that's it for this particular review. As far as I can tell, I think I have like 2 more videos planned for today, and that's a review of 2 manga chapters. And that's really, I may have another Comic Corner planned. That's a maybe in that part, okay? But this is the next review. Bye.